Um, Last but not least, from Summer Games Fest is Elden Ring. It's the open world Souls game that George R. R. Martin, writer of Game of Thrones, has been working on. It looks very, to me, just basic because it looks like every other Souls game. I understand people who like Souls game. When it looks like a Souls game, you're not going to be upset because you already like those games. But for me personally, I expected it to be something new and different. You know what I mean? I feel like it was going to visually look distinct from all the other Souls games, but it looks just like visually, just like every other Souls game. It's dark and gloomy and gray and brown and dirty. And I was expecting.
I like the concept of Soul games. I don't really like the aesthetic of Souls
Yeah,
games because,
me neither. I like the aesthetic of two Souls games, Bloodborne and Sekiro.
I love the aesthetic of Bloodborne because I love Lovecraftian stuff, and Bloodborne is very Lovecraftian. But the rest of them are just kind of.
Yeah, the setting of Bloodborne is it's less kind of medieval fantasy, and it's more like 1800s England type. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's literally Lovecraftian. Like it's literally like Lovecraftian. It's a Lovecraftian take on the Souls like formula.
And it's also much more. It's a much faster paced game when it comes to action than the other Souls games.
Right.
Same with Sekiro. And that's I think why both of those. Of course, we're talking visually though, and visually Sekiro is very different. It's much brighter because it's Japan. There are cherry blossoms everywhere. The roofs of all the buildings are orange in that game. Like it's a much brighter and visually distinct game. And what I was expecting from Elden Ring was for it to be, it's a fantasy. It's a medieval type fantasy. I was expecting it to be like Lord of the Rings combined with like Harry Potter aesthetic. And there was a portion of the trailer that looked very much like Hogwarts. And that's what I was expecting all of it to be like. I expected it to be more like that. But it still has that same dreary medieval aesthetic that I feel like is kind of boring.
I mean, it's also George R. R. Martin, so I'm not really. I don't know. I'm not real worried about like bright stuff when it comes to George R. R. Martin.
Something someone mentioned on Twitter was that it would be cool to have a Souls-like game based around like African mythology. I feel like there are a lot of mythologies that just get ignored when it comes to media. There are tons of African culture with a bazillion different tribes and philosophies and folklore and things like that can be made into games. And like Western Asian countries have tons of stuff you can make games and TV shows and anime and just animated series in general out of. And I feel like they're always ignored. You know what I mean? Instead, we get Greek, Norse, Egyptian. That's it. We could use some different stuff. This person also mentioned that it would be cool if we got a Yasuke game. Imagine an actual samurai game. You play as Yasuke, but it's like Ghost of Tsushima.
That'd be fire.
That would be fantastic.
I'd pay so much money for that.
That would be cool. I don't know how the times, like the time period.
A Yasuke DLC and Ghost of Tsushima.
I'm thinking like, what if either there was a Yasuke DLC or for whatever reason Yasuke just appeared in like the story of the second game.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, but I don't know.
The time periods definitely don't match up.
Yeah, I was about to say I don't know nothing about the time periods of Japan and stuff like that, so I don't know how that matches up. But